When I see the way some women react on social media or even in Nigerian films, when a man goes on his knees, proposes to a woman, the next thing, the woman will start shouting, jumping, getting so excited. Most times when I see these things, I just say, oh God, this woman does not know what she's getting into. She doesn't know that this action she's about to take is a road to death. Yes, God ordained marriage to kill you. First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 28. The whole of First Corinthians chapter 7 talks about marriage. Paul talked extensively on what to do if you're single or if you're married. But what I want to bring to your attention is First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 28. And it says, but if you do marry, you have not sinned. And if a virgin marries, she has not sinned. But those who marry will face many troubles in this life. And I want to spare you. Some translations say those who marry will face many troubles in the flesh. What are these troubles? Naturally, we as human beings, we are naturally selfish. You don't need to pretend, me inclusive. We are naturally self-first. And this is why to become selfless is something you need to fight and do willfully. It's something you need to will your flesh to do. It's something you need to think yourself into doing it. It's something you need to do purposely. The Bible says that the flesh and the spirit are always at war. The spirit wants to do what is good, but the flesh wants to go its own way. That person you want to marry is your mirror. What does a mirror do? When you wake up in the morning and you stand in front of a mirror, what do you see? You see your hair scattered, one lying this way, the other one lying this way, depending on how you slept. You see maybe marks on your face, depending on the side you slept on. You see maybe your nightgown unbuttoned, everything scattered. What does a mirror do? A mirror brings to the surface things that do not look good. A mirror brings to your attention things that need to be corrected. Where normally, if you did not stand in front of a mirror, you will not know. And most times, to correct those things needs willful, focused action. Your spouse is your mirror. Hey, your spouse will do things to bring out in you those things that you did not even know needs to be worked on. A popular preacher said that marriage is between two givers. You're entering marriage to serve. You're entering marriage to do things that a lot of the times will not be conducive for you. A lot of the times might not be what you want to do at that time. But for the sake of peace and harmony, you will do it. You're entering a relationship where you will not do things anyhow anymore. You cannot do things that you want to do the way you used to do it. If you're a single woman and when immediately you receive your salary, you go straight and start buying designer bag, designer shoe, and then for the rest of the month you're drinking garri, it will stop. That desire has to be killed. Because when you enter marriage, it becomes our finances. We need to discuss the spending of the money. If you used to come back from work and you sit down and you just open a bottle of Coke and take bread and eat, you don't feel like cooking, it will end. Because you're no longer thinking of yourself, you're thinking of somebody else, and you're thinking of children when they do come. Troubles in the flesh. Marriage was not ordained to make you happy. I have a video where I talked about, and I will link it here, that marriage was not ordained to make you happy. It was ordained to kill you so that it can make you better. That is why when you first marry, the first 1 to 5 years is normally filled with friction. And most times they might not tell you in marriage counseling in the church. It's filled with friction. Why? Because those things that you used to do that you think is normal, you have met a partner that tells you it is not. Because most times you want to do things to please yourself. You now have to think of somebody else. So it is a war within you. I remember when I relocated from Nigeria to stay with my husband. The first 4 years I used to visit from Nigeria. I'll visit him in Germany. I'll go back. But after 4 years, and because of 1 or 2 things, we had to decide for me to relocate and join him in Germany. My dear, the first 3 years here was war. It was war. And I'm not joking. Sometimes we'll keep malice for 1 week. Nobody's talking to nobody. Everybody will be facing their own. Good morning. Come and eat. Good night. It was war. And that is coming from me, somebody that has read a lot of books on marriage. Somebody that felt I was really prepared. I was expecting the marriage to be like the courtship. When men are courting you, they treat you like diamond and egg. Everything is rosy. But when you become wife, the equation changes. You begin to see different things. You begin to adjust. You begin to see the real person when you begin to live together. Courtship never shows you who the person is. It will show you some glimpse. But it is when you begin to live together as husband and wife that the killing begins. The killing to self. The killing of selfishness. That is the greatest problem. The killing of selfishness. So, my dear, when somebody proposes to you, begin to ask yourself, am I ready to die to self? Am I ready to lay aside some things and overlook some things? Am I ready to forgive and forgive and forgive? Am I ready to give and give and give? Am I ready to be flexible? Am I ready to share my finances? Am I ready to listen to somebody to suggest to me how we can spend money I worked for? Am I ready to serve? When somebody proposes to you, instead of shouting, ask yourself these questions that I've just asked. Now, after listening to me, I want you to ask yourself, these things that I've heard today, am I ready to marry? Am I ready to die to self? If your answer is God, am I ready? That means you're ready. If your answer is, yeah, I don't even know if I'm ready, then watch my next video where I'm going to tell you different tips or different ways to know if you are actually ready for marriage or not. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope to see you in my next video on Christianity 247. Stay blessed.